Welcome, everybody, to the start of the longest race in the ARCS A Cup Series season. Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the Charlotte 300 here tonight. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me, Kevin Young, to bring you tonight's action. And Kevin, it's 200 laps, 300 miles. It's a race unlike any other for the stock cars and for the A Cup Series. How difficult is it running 300 miles here at Charlotte?
Well, it's, again, one of the longest races these drivers are going to have to deal with on the calendar. So it's going to definitely be something where these drivers are going to have to take nutrition and make sure they space themselves out and not get too focused on the goal in question. But other than that, though, it's really just regular old Charlotte where you're going to have to pick your lines, choose your lines right, whether you want to run the low or the high groove. But yeah, like I kind of said, endurance is going to be the name of the game and really being able to control yourself, because if you end up getting tired early on or you get fatigued quickly, you're going to be in for a long night.
Absolutely. Again, mile-and-a-half racetrack here. One of the quintessential intermediate ovals in stock car racing. Part of the biggest weekend of motorsports. Qualifying is underway at the moment. About 4 minutes left in qualifying at the moment. On track that we're looking at right now. Yeah, Austin Purnell.
Every driver's really set a time. He is currently going to start his first. He's actually on the lap right now. Well, now it's probably not going to count with that wall tap. So he's going to have to gear up for the second one. He and Edward Marshall are the only two drivers going to gear up for a second run for Austin Purnell, and the first run going to start for Edward Marshall. So a few drivers left here in the wanes of qualifying, trying to break up the front row lockdown that belongs to Daniel Michel and Toby Estes.
Yeah, Michel was one of the first ones that went out on track here. And you'll see some new faces because they haven't got the custom numbers loaded in yet. Mike LaJoy, one of the new drivers in this season. Part of the first really big shakeup for the A Squared teams as drivers rotated drivers in and out to get ready for this middle stanza.
Yep, a few drivers. I think we talked about in the All-Star race. Mike Joy is one of those drivers that joined Black Acid Racing. Him and Dale Markowski. Markowski, thank you, is on a part-time basis for Black Acid, and one of only three teams to make driver switches, including Sunday Money Racing, where Cody Pennell and Jonathan Holmbrink, they switched roles. Now Holmbrink, who remember won at Talladega, is now on a part-time schedule, while Cody Pennell in the 50 car is on a full-time basis. And for Line Power, Edward Marshall, as we just kind of him starting a lap, he's going to finish his second lap here, is now driving full-time for Line Power Motorsports. So some drivers like LaJoy, Marshall goes P3.
Yeah.
Definitely got a strong machine at 16, looking to try to show off some, do well for debuting for the new teams, or in the case of Sunday Money Racing, Cody Pennell on a full-time basis, looking to keep the momentum going quite strong. Every driver has elected to set a time here. Only one driver has not as lighter, just finished the second run. That will put him up to P11. And with only Kevin Feemster, the only car not to put down a time, and I don't think he's at any time yet to blink yet. So we may see if he makes a last second run here to put down a time. But right now, at least if Feemster does go, at the very least, Daniel Michel and Toby Estes, one of those two drivers is going to be on the front row.
It'll be interesting to see how all this shakes out. It's going to be interesting because I think we're going to have 3 duels tonight with how everything's going to kind of break up here. So we're going to see some interesting differences here tonight as we get into this.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out in regard. Less than 1 minute to go here. Feemster is most likely not going to take a lap, so it is going to be Michel and Estes, two drivers that will lock out the front row and will be able to skip the duels in question and keep their front row starting spots.
Yeah, only driver not to do anything was Kevin Feemster. He's electing to start from the back. 19 cars again in tonight's grid. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, with qualifying wrapping up here. It'll be Daniel Michel and Toby Estes locked in, though. at the front of the field.
At least the one positive is we kind of hinted about it before we went live, is that with the Coke 600, the actual one, being rained out and not going to be taking place till tomorrow, it allows these drivers kind of the knowing that they don't have to rush to get through this quickly, because they don't have to worry about maybe missing the race. They'll have the opportunity to watch it tomorrow, so it should, at the very least, maybe bring the chaos down a little bit, because they know they're not trying to race against a virtual, a real-life clock. So that will finish qualifying, and we will start with duel number 1 for the decide the inside row here.
Alrighty, so here we go. Pulling up the starting grid. It's Edward Marshall and Josh Gaiman on the front row for duel 1. Ahead of Bradley Wright and Emma Kruger. Matt Leiter and Ryan Pinnell make up row 3. Bryn Roberts and Mike LaJoy make up row 4. And Kevin Feemster will round out this field of 9 for Heat 1. Bryn Roberts won last night at Homestead, Miami in the SNS finale. Ryan Pinnell finished third in that race. Looking to have some similar success here on Memorial Day weekend here tonight, as everyone gets ready and set to go in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a 10-lap heat for Heat 1 and a 10-lap heat for Heat 2. As you get ready to get underway, waiting for the drivers to get on track, you'll see there's Bradley Wright in the 8. We'll see Edward Marshall pop up on track here shortly.
There's Emma Kruger in the 7. He just popped in. Yep, we're just waiting on one car here, Edward Marshall, as we got about another 50 seconds before he has to tow in before he would be starting in the back or on the pit lane. All right, some drivers getting a little bit antsy. You can hear them trying to rev the throttles. They want to get going here. And that will be the 16 joining the field, so we will get this heat underway here. Gonna be 10 laps. And you can't lose. Yeah, you can. You want to play it safe, but also aggressive. You're a driver like LaJoy, Feemster, Roberts. You're going to want to try to work your way up to the front quickly to try and improve your spot. But at the same point, if you're Marshall, Gaiman, Wright, you kind of want to just hang on where you are at the very least. But easier said than done, as they'll get underway here. Drivers will be going on the flagman's control here, which we usually see is the case. So as they come off 3, coming off the 3 here, coming into 4, and just heading on 4, the pace car, it's going to take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is in the air, and away we go for heat number 1. Relatively good launch through every line here for the most part. The question of who can clear out first, or can Gaiman get down in front of Marshall, or can Marshall kind of hold in on the inside? Kruger, they're going to give the 61 a little bit of a push here, just trying to clear both cars on a high groove. Right now, 2 line power machines are going to fight hard for second, as we're going to come to the finish of lap number 1 here. As you can see already, different lines already starting to form up here. Oh, Edward Marshall gets a little bit loose, and that's going to cost him a couple spots here. This is going to fall in now fighting between Matthew Leiter for 5th position. So just one little mistake, and it ends up being a bit of a cost here. Now he's going to be on the chance here to catch the Ryan Pinnell, and he will get around. So starting the lap, he was in P2. Now he's down to P4. He's going to have to be on the offensive to try to get back a few more spots.
The interesting thing about this, we saw how loose everyone's getting early here. Wonder if it's going to tighten up as the run goes on.
Would not be shocked. And remember, we also got to deal with the day-night transition as well. This race will start in the when the sun's still out, and by the end of this thing, it will be nighttime. So as the track goes on, the track temperature will drop, and the light going down, it will have an effect on these cars. And some cars will be set up for the early runs, other cars will be set up for the later runs. So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But back up to the front here, Kruger is still keeping Gaiman in control here, and she's slowly rolling in the 61 machine. But it's easy to catch someone, but it's another thing to pass. We're going to get a good run off here. Could set up for a move going into one. Just a battle for the win of the heat. Kruger all over the back of the 61. And she's going to be side by side coming off the back straight. Kruger been getting the run that she needs, and it's going to force Game into a tight spot. 70 going to drift on the track just a little bit. Clip the apron. Both cars keep it straight as we're going to hit 4 to go here. Kruger seems to have the fast machine. He's just seen the background as well. It's a battle for third between Marshall and Wright. Marshall was just able to get around Wright, but Wright going to hang it around the high groove. You can see a slow car down. That's Ryan Pinnell there on the low groove. Which is Kruger use up a bit of her stuff trying to get closer to the 61. It's a short run, but she really pushed those tires to the limit. Could have an ill effect.
It's all a game of decimals.
Mm-hmm.
Further back, Bryn Roberts and Ryan Pinnell in pit lane.
Yeah, it looks like they had a bit of an incident. Pinnell had an incident along with Michael LaJoy as well. So a slight incident between Feemster, Pinnell, LaJoy. And that's going to put him in a bad spot as this heat's going to finish up here. As you see, the 16 just clapped the wall just a tiny bit as we're on 2 to go here. Kruger going the wrong way quickly. She's just trying to hang on here for a podium finishing spot in Heat 1. But Briley Wright's going to try to challenge that. Number 8 machine going to go low into the corner, similar to what he's going to do to Kruger did the game in. Mouthful, I should say. They're going to be side by side coming off here, the 3 to 4. Again, that 16 doesn't look planted, but that's going to be the white flag lap. Smooth sailing up front. Gaiman's got 3 temps clear of the second place car. This is the major battle we're watching. Kruger gets off the corner clean. Now Wright's going to have to try to run it up here for one more run, but just a little bit too far back. And as they come off the last corner here, Joshua Gaiman's going to win heat number 1, followed by Edward Marshall, and Emma Kruger will take 3rd, and Briley Wright will round home in 4th position. So good clean racing from the top 4. Matthew Leiter will bring it home in 5th, with it going to be Feemster, Ryan Pinnell, Brent Roberts, and Mike LaJoy rounding out the field here. That will bring us nicely in the heat number 2 here.
Starting grid for heat 2, 8 cars in this grid. Seth Wansing, James Kerr, David Wright, Brandon Fetterplace, Austin Purnell, Stephen Oberstadt, Tommy Withers, and Elrich George make up this grid of 8. It'll be 19 cars total that take the green flag here at Charlotte by the time the main event begins. But heat 2 coming up here very shortly.
Does raise the question as well, as we saw through heat number 1, if you at least with Edward Marshall, the car got a little squirrely. And we also saw that with another incident, even though we didn't see it on stream. We did see an incident with Feemster, Ryan Pinnell, and Mike LaJoy. So it raises the question, is that these cars seem to be a little bit loose, especially right now with the track sun still out and it's early day. How's that going to affect these drivers in heat number 2 here? How hard are they willing to push? Because one slight mistake could take maybe a top 3 starting position for 3 or 4 rows in. Instead, you'll be fighting in the back and having to make a long comeback to try to get back in this race. But at least if you're going to be starting in the back, this is one of the races to do it because it's such of how long it is. It will give you an ample time to try to claw your way back in.
It's not even so much about the time. It's just that it is a smaller field because so many drivers are traveling today, whether it's, you know, Indianapolis or Charlotte, which got rained out obviously till 3 p.m. tomorrow. So you have the ability to kind of take that risk anyway, just because it is a smaller grid. But as you mentioned, 200 laps is still a long time to be in these cars. It's going to be a long race. You got to take care of yourself to get there. And there's a lot of drivers that could use with the bonus points.
Yeah, 100%. Especially this being the first now points-paying race in the second. You could probably break it down to 3 halves, like 3/4 of a season. This being the second half of the 3 quarters definitely shows this is definitely where you want to start off strong and give your second quarter of the season off greatly here. As the pace car is going to come out the last corner here, and we're going to get ready to start heat number 2. Pace car going to take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is out, and away we go for heat number 2. Tyler Place already bumping Kerr there to try to get that 75 going a little bit faster. See 3 off the road there. You can see the 42 with David Wright and the 34 at Feather Place have a little bit of a touch. But up the front, James Kerr also taps the wall as well. So it's going to give Wanzing some breathing room. Austin Pinnell is going to try to capitalize to get second position here. The Austin ripping and riding on the high groove. We've seen that work. We saw it last heat too with the battle between Kruger and Wright, where that high groove worked out for Emma Kruger right there. Again, a little touch between the 42 and the 34. No love lost between the 2 drivers here in the first 2 laps of this heat. They cannot stay off each other. Oberstadt has a slight spin, and he's going to drift off the pack here. David right there gets a little loose off corner entry, as I exit, I should say. That's going to open the door for the 34 Feather Place. Who I should remind is currently second in the standings, only behind Tommy Reynolds, who is not here tonight due to traveling issues or whatever reason he has. So it's a wide open door for some drivers, even though it's a win-and-in system, to maybe get some momentum here to start the second quarter of the season. Or third, I should say. 6 to go here. Battle still heating up here for fourth, respectively, as the top 3 have kind of drifted away from this battle. You can only fit a piece of paper between the 2 of them right there. Neither giving an inch. Place looking to get a good run off the corner here. Still side by side. Neither driver can finish the deal. Looks like Wright will have the advantage going in a corner. Featherplate's going to drive it in hard. He'll slide on up and take the spot, but he cannot hold it. You can see the car get a little loose, and it's going to be 4 to go here. Wright still has the advantage and the position. And if something happens, Tommy Withers is right there in the distance, just idly watching. And you can see right there, Feather Place gets it, but Wright going to go for a switchback. So they're going to switch roles here. But Wright not going to get sent it in deep enough, and that's going to open the door for Tommy Withers to make a move. Right, gonna answer back here with another run. As the lap's winding down, as Seth Wansing, the number 9, is going to take the 2 to go here. They've lost touch at 3rd place. So this is the highest that either driver can get 4th position, bearing a mistake from someone up above. 9th driver's giving an inch. You see a battle forming as well between Withers and Alfred George as well. Alfred George watching that M&M's paint scheme. A little bit different than the Pennzoil when we see him running in and week out. As we come to the white flag lap here, Seth Wands is going to take it. Advantage for this battle for 4th is now in Feather Place's hands. Can he hold around for one more lap? To see the gap between Wands and Purnell, it's about a little over half a second between the two. It's going to grow up to a second now with a slight mistake by Purnell off of 2. Wansing and that American Napa scheme is going to have no pressure off of 4, and he's going to bring that 9 machine home for the win in heat number 2, with Austin Purnell coming in 2nd, James Kerr in 3rd, Feather Place 4th, David Wright 5th, Alfred George 6th, Tommy Withers 7th, and Stefan Oberstadt in 8th position. And that's how heat 2 is going to end, with both Withers and Oberstadt not finishing this heat.
Alrighty, so here we go. The main event of the evening. It's the Charlotte 300 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, just outside of Charlotte in the suburb of Concord. That's what the drivers are looking forward to tonight. 76 degrees the air temp, 78 degrees the track temp. And temperatures, they will fall as this race goes on. 200 laps, 300 miles in tow for this evening. In the grid, it's almost showtime. Here shortly, it'll be 19 cars racing tonight. Everyone getting a last chance to warm up and get ready to go for the longest race of the season here Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm. Best way to kick off, well, I guess I'm going to say kick off, but end a hectic Sunday of racing. We have the race on the streets of Monaco, the race on the Yard of Bricks, and now, to finish it off, the race, the 600-mile race here in Charlotte to wrap it up. So you're going to see in this last 3 minutes of warm-up, driver's going to take a chance to practice pit road exit, pit road entry, as they always are kind of told by race control and what not to do, because it's good practice, because you never know under green flag pit stops, you don't want to lock up, make a mistake, and take yourself out of contention. So it's good to practice pit road entry and exit, and also use this last opportunity to maybe get a drink, take a leak, do whatever you need to do, because especially it's provable here tonight, because you're going to be in that cockpit for a while, for at least over 300 miles of virtual racing. as we're within 30 seconds left here in warm-up. We hope you're all nice and situated if you are watching at home, as we are about to get ready here. See the last few drivers kind of pulling out, coming on in. It's going to be quite fun to watch. It's going to be quite enjoyable to see.
Alrighty, showtime for the longest race of the season. It's Daniel Michel, Toby Estes on the front row, Sunday Money Racing, and Bandit Racing on the front row, separated by 5 milliseconds in qualifying. Then you have the order of the duels, the heat races. Heat 1 determining the inside, Heat 2 determining the outside lane. Josh Gaiman and Seth Wanzing won their heats. They'll start row 2. Edward Marshall, Austin Burnell in row number 3 ahead of Emma Kruger and James Kerr. Bradley Wright and Brandon Fetterplace in row 5 ahead of David Wright and Matthew Leiter, who make up row number 6. Again, 19 cars in tonight's field. Smaller field, but a chance for some really valuable points for those, especially at the fringe of the cutoff line in the top 16. Kevin Feenstra, Irish George in row 7 for Presidential Racing. They lock out that row. Ryan Pinnell just behind them in 15th. He's in row 8 alongside Tommy Withers, who's already in the playoffs, won at Las Vegas. Don't forget that. Bren Roberts and Steven Oberstadt sitting in row number 9. Bren Roberts said it's going to be very unlikely for him to make it into the playoffs. He feels like he's not where he wants to be right now in terms of having that pace. I heard from him last night at the S&S race that he won at Homestead, Miami. Not feeling confident here tonight, and it shows. 17th, one of his lowest qualifying positions so far this season. He's ahead of only Mike LaJoie. He will round out the field of 19, his first race of the year officially in the A-Square Cup Series. He'll start dead last for Black Acid Racing, but 19th means that there is a floor already pretty high compared to the 26, 27 cars we typically see here in this series.
Yep. It's going to be a bit of a parachute for some here. If they have a bad night, it's not going to be as bad on a regular weekend, where it can really hurt you if you end up having a bad race. So, at the very least for some, that's comfort at the very least if they have a bad day here. But a lot of drivers aren't going to be looking for that bad day. But someone's going to have to take 19th position, and all 19 drivers are hoping it's not them. So as the pace car is going to take the hard left into the pit lane this time by. We're going to get ready to do this thing.
Pace car is in. Green flag comes out. And the Charlotte 300 is underway. Even start by the front row. But Michelle's going to have a little bit more help from Gaiman than Estes did from Wanzing.
Oh! Kruger just got a little loose there. Cameron to pick it up. She's still sideways. She'll save it. Great save. She was loose for halfway through the out of 1 and going into 2. She's not going to go back to 19th, but for how it could have been a lot worse, she could be ended up behind the wall right now. But luckily, no real harm, no foul, other than some track position loss. But lap number 1 is going to go to Daniel Michel here, with Toby Estes knocking on the door for some victories the past couple weeks, just looking for something to go right here. And right now in second, going to be under pressure for Seth Wanzing for a battle for second. And then you can see on the distance, Gaiman and Marshall, they're fighting for fourth. Right now, that's what that 25 wants to see. Side-by-side action, 2 rows back for both second and fourth position. It's going to allow them some time to kind of set some laps here. Get a little bit of breathing room. Now, in turn, Estes and Wanzing don't want to stay side-by-side for too long, because obviously the longer they stay side-by-side, the more they're going to burn up their stuff, and in turn, put them in a bad spot as we get later on to the heat when the end of the stage. Shell fastest that time by on track. As Wanzing and Estes still side by side. But it looks like Estes is going to end up gaining the spot here. He'll be back in second position. Now, one thing worth noting as we watch this 25, he's already got that win. He won at Fontana. But also, something to keep a note on that 25, he does struggle at the very least with long runs with those tires. He's not as much of a tire whisperer as some of the drivers around him in this field, so I do wonder as this run goes on, as we get to the end of stage 1, how are those tires going to fare with the cars around him? So we know he's got great short pace. He can definitely get the great speed out of that car in a short run. But some drivers' kryptonite is getting the tires to their window. And I wonder how it's going to play out. Battle, though, for third position is Wanzing has fallen to the clutches of both Wanzing and, Marshall and Gaiman have both got around Seth Wanzing. So Wanzing's going to fall down to fifth position. And if he's not careful, he's going to have Austin Pinnell knocking on his door along with Riley Wright. Looking a little bit back, we do got a battle here for sixth position between Wright and Austin Pinnell. It's like Riley Wright's going to get around Austin Pinnell there. You can see this the train forming as Wright's not going to set his sights on for Seth Wanzing. A little bit of a pack's formed up here. Good onboard shot here from the 34 machine, Messiah Stake of Brandon Fetterplace. You can just see as we'll keep the onboard shot here. You can see the different lines starting to form. We saw it through both heats. Different drivers feel comfortable in different spots. The high side seems where you want to be, at least in the short run. But as the run goes on, you're going to see cars drift lower and lower as the tires cannot hang on that super high line. That's one more thing kind of the note as well is different drivers are going to run different lines depending on the dirty air ahead. So if a bunch of cars are training on the higher groove, you may see a car kind of jump to the lower line to make something happen. But back, if we want to cut back up to the front, we got Estes knocking on the door to get around the 25 here. As you can just see, Estes has had a rocket ship on that back of 29. He's slowly cut into Michelle's lead. And now he's looking to take the lead of the race for himself in that 29 Bass Pro machine. But 25 is going to put up a fit of a fight here. Not going to roll over and die and let Toby Estes get around. But that time by, Estes leads it by at least a fraction.
Estes did not look happy on that outside lane, but it's quicker, so he gets there.
Yep. At least Pazzo is now being the trendsetter, the lead car. He can kind of control the line he wants to run. The only real threat he has to worry about is if a car ends up being slightly faster than he is. He may have to try to cover off the line. But right now, he can run what he likes. Does he want to hug the bottom, run the middle groove? He's got the choice. You can see he's pinching that middle, the kind of low groove, but not pinching the apron. Definitely lane 2 out of 3 lanes.
Hey, got Estes, Michelle, Gaiman, Marshall, Wanzing, Wright, Fetterplace, Purnell, Kerr, and Leiter top 10.
Mm-hmm. Should also be noting as well, even though we don't have the track map on, you can see by the timing and scoring intervals, there's a big gap from the 10th place car of Matthew Leiter to the 11th place car of Kevin Feemster. And even there's a big gap from Leiter to Purnell, so a bit of a checkup probably happened there in the opening laps that kind of just caused the, maybe an accordion effect. And in turn has broken away 2 major packs, with Matthew Leiter kind of just being in no man's land. But at least one positive again is with a stage break on the horizon, not for a wee bit, but definitely sometime down the road. It'll allow those drivers to kind of get bunched back up as they're going to catch the first car to put one down. It's going to be the 22 Alfred George, low on the apron here, just trying to get out of the way. and they will successfully navigate around him, but Alfred Short's kind of struggling here. Kind of in a bad spot right now. He's luckily got a bit of a pressure before the cars roll off the corner, and he'll get down for pack 2 catches. But it's not been a good night for that 22.
To the front, it's Estes, Michelle, and Gaiman. Michelle going for the race lead again. Trying to make some inroads. Looks like he'll be pretty successful in that. Getting the inside lane through 3 and 4. Clears the 29 and drifts up.
That's going to open the door for the 61. The possibility, maybe put a fender in there to challenge 29. Won't be just a tad too far back to try it. But Gaiman is kind of letting the top 2 know he's here. So if a lane opportunity opens up, that 61 will take it and run where he thinks it's faster. And right now, just kind of watching and learning. And you just see, 4th place, Edward Marshall almost taps the wall there. He barely misses it if he did. But 4th place and 5th place, both Marshall and Wanzing are both catching up as well. So it's top 5 going to get bunched up sooner rather than later at the pace they're going. Gaiman's got around for 2nd position, but a slight mistake by Estes. And now Estes going to be under pressure from Seth Wanzing as well. 29 going the wrong way, but at the very least has allowed Michelle some breathing room.
Watching this battle now between 2nd place Seth Wanzing and Josh Gaiman. Pit stops, I believe, are incoming here, or coming very shortly in this event. There's 4 stages tonight. A little bit different because this race is so much longer than the normal events. 4 stages, 1 on lap 40, 1 on lap 80, and 1 on lap 120 to get us all the way through this race. We're halfway through stage 1. And pit stops may be coming here shortly. Estes taking an early pit stop. A strategy pretty familiar with that 29 car. Trying to get an undercut to try to make it all the way to the end of stage 1. And try to score maximum stage points.
And we've seen in recent weeks with some races, A Squares wanted to lower the fuel capacities to make sure a pit stop maybe happens. At least one green flag pit stop during a stage instead of it all coming in the final stage. So that is kind of the work they've done here. So the fuel can't go as long, but you do have to try to stretch it. And we know Estes loves his undercuts, like you said. Right now, the only problem is he's kind of buried in traffic in that second pack. So the downside is he's got the fresher tires, but he's kind of running into trouble where he's going to end up caught up to Ryan Pennell and Kevin Feemster, Stefan Oberstadt, Tommy Withers, Michael Joy. He's going to have to go through that. And every lap, even though he's running faster laps, if he's stuck behind those cars for too long, it's going to really hurt his undercut. So we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out and how it shuffles out. But right now, I still kind of like the overcut just because of the traffic the 29 currently is in.
Yeah, the longer these cars stay out, the better it works out for Estes anyways, as we see the battle once again for second place, and it wasn't much of a battle. Gaiman just shot by Wanzing like he was strapped to a rocket.
Mm-hmm. Seth Wanzing playing the long game here, knowing pit stop window coming, just trying to get there without any mistakes. Stage points are always fun, but a lot of these drivers in this top five right now, only one driver has gotten at least one win. That's Joshua Gaiman, who won at Bristol Dirt. And I think he's actually got two, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, Dave Michelle's win as well. I said that earlier. So
yeah,
we got a lot
won
of
at Fontana.
You got a lot of hungry drivers. Seth Wanzing, Feather Plays, two drivers.
I'm going to point out something. Well, sorry to interrupt you. Listen to Seth Wanzing. He's clutching and coasting.
Saving fuel.
100% saving fuel. The issue is that he is dropping time like no other. He's about to get past. See if we can get that backward shot. There's Fetter Place. He has hemorrhaged 6 seconds worth of time in 3 laps trying to fuel save here. But he's not alone.
No.
Fetter Place didn't gain him in the corner. Fetter Place just got out of the clutch earlier.
Yeah. It's a game of chance here, and I don't hate the call per se, but the problem is that if he ends up coughing up too much time, he could put himself in a bad spot. Because obviously, Michelle running the fuel tank dry, he is not saving as much as he needs to, looking at lap times.
Gaiman's in.
Yep, Gaiman's in. Put it in perspective, Seth Wanzing ran a 32.96 that time by. The leader was running a 31.07. And even the cars around him are still running kind of low to middle 31s. So he's really trying to hit that number.
That much fuel that quickly, because he hasn't been saving that long.
No. This is an odds right. Either he sees the number above him, because probably he's got it somewhere on his overlays, and it's telling him it's close, and he thinks he can hit it. The only problem is if it doesn't work out and he gets caught and swallowed by the cars around him, because right now Toby Estes is still not going to fight him for position. That is not, I believe, actually it could be for position. No, it's not position. But the point is even the pack swallows him and gains him, he could end up losing track position that is kind of valuable. So it's good knowledge to have in your back of your pocket, especially later on if you need it. But it could end up blowing up in his face if he ends up not making it anyway and ends up falling so many spots out back. So instead of, let's say at the start of stage 2, instead of maybe being in the top 5, he's now looking at a top 10, top 15. He's going to have to try to cut his way back up in stage 2 and stage 3. But at least if you're going to take a risk, take the race which is the longest and has the most stages to make up for mistakes. We just hit lap 30. Give or take 10 away from stage break here. But Wanzing is dropping the hammer. That time by a 32.56. 33.56 that time by. He is dropping another second there.
Yeah, it's not even really close right now. It's interesting seeing what that is. Because if he can manage to get through these next 10 laps without needing a caution or without needing to pit, then it looks like a genius. But that is a lot of time to be hemorrhaging, especially if you still can't make it.
And it makes me wonder, because Michelle's clearly running flat out. Now, obviously, we don't want 100% know when the window breaks, but Estes pit long before this. He pitted at lap 19.
Yeah.
Toby Joshua Gaiman pitted at 26. Neither driver has even blinked yet to go in, so clearly the window is probably close. It's probably 35, maybe 34, and that still leaves 6 laps. 6 laps is a big tall. If it's closer, then it makes a bit more sense, but he is hemorrhaging time. We'll watch it this time. We'll go around this time by as well. He's still in the 33s. The only car kind of close to him is Edward Marshall, who ran a 32.9. And he's, I think, maybe on the same strategy as well, possibly.
Marshall's in traffic. That's his issue.
True.
Because here's Edward Marshall. Edward Marshall's in traffic. He's dealing with Matt Leiter, David Wright, Mike LaJoy, Brent Roberts. He's in that group.
The thing is, compares with the traffic around him, they're running 31.6s, 31.2s, 31.4s. But even with the traffic, he's still running a little net slower than the average traffic lap. So he is saving a little bit. And if that's the case, if both drivers trying to hit that strategy, Wanzing's already down to 13th. He's 18 seconds back of Michelle. I don't like this call, because if he gets put one down before that happens, it looks even less smart, as now he's going to get caught by the last couple cars here on the tail end of the lead lap. And it's a long way to the 25.
Yeah, Wanzing's now 20 seconds adrift of the 25 of his teammate, Daniel Michel. Like, they're teammates here. So a good barometer underway here. Seth Wanzing down to 13th. Oberstadt, Kruger, and Feemster, the last cars on the lead lap. And they're not under threat right now. There's a 32-second lap. You've got still a third of a lap to kind of play with. And a pit stop takes longer than a lap.
Yeah, Bradley Wright just came in. He's
So
pitted.
did Steven Oberstadt.
So they coming at 33. I've heard no other radio communication yet. 34. Obviously, some drivers are going to be luffing their cards here, even though it's not the right thing to do with iRacing comms. Just to let the drivers know. But
now here's the interesting thing with Daniel Michel. Michel's been on it the entire time. He has 12 seconds to play with, so he could clutch and coast to make it happen.
True. Big gap to Feather Place.
A huge gap to Feather Place. I think Wanzing opened that gap up for him. Brother, this was a splash and go.
Yeah, looking at the times as well, just kind of looking at the lap times. Every driver's running the 31 bracket. You got high 31s for Feather Place and Austin Pinnell, just short of 32s, but they are kind of close to each other.
30.4 for Toby Estes.
Yep.
And he pit early.
Yeah, he pit early, you're correct. But yeah, Feather Place Feather Place was running 31.9s. Just kind of running through information here quickly.
32.01, 31.3 between Feather Place and Wright, with 5 to go in the stage.
I think Seth Wanzing may have hit his number now because he's now back in the 31 bracket. So he saved the fuel he needed.
Maybe he oversaved.
Yeah. 75 occurs coming in this time by, and he's in that pack.
You compare the pace between Feather Place, who we believe has been saving, and Wanzing. If Feather Place is good, then we know that Feather Place, we know that you don't need to save that much in the stages.
But the only other problem is, as well, is the concern if you do get the 40 and the tank runs out, you got to make emergency service. There's that risk as well. And we remember from Kansas and Dover where a bad cycle kind of ended up biting it. But the 25 Michel coming in, he's going to miss the pit box. Daniel Michel was going to pit, and he undershot.
The only positive from this is that he's got so much of a gap. Like, you can afford to flub it a little bit, but... Yeah.
Missed it by a mile. And that's why you practice pit road entry and exit during the warm-up right there, because 25 had a big mistake, but it looks like the window's about 37, 38, because he was running flat. And now it's 6-5. You can just see there's the battle for second right there with Wright and LaJoy. Yeah, 25 going to run the apron here. Not going to take any chances. Yeah. Oh, he's actually going to lose it. He's spinning. Going to keep it off the wall. Oh, he's going to hit it by a tad. It's all gone wrong for the 25. He'll now enter his box successfully. So we've got 2 to go here. And honestly, if you're not pitting now.
What a run from Mike LaJoy in the 88. Debut this season. He's done a couple of races before in the A-Square Cup Series, but this is his first time going full-time. And looking for his first stage win. The longest race of the season. Mike LaJoy, 1 lap to go in stage 1.
Yeah, no one else has come down, so this is it. He's got to hope he's got enough in the tank. Again, this raises more several questions. If they can make it to the first stage break, then raises, because obviously everyone's coming down next time by, but then it raises the question, why did Estes, because Estes will get back in the lead lap, but why did him and Gaiman pit? But there he goes. That's going to be across the line, and that's going to end the stage. So it's going to be LaJoy,
Estes and Gaiman are on the lead lap because of Michel's incident. So Estes was fine. I think they were taking a gamble to see what they could do because they're not in danger in the points.
No. And then Bradley Wright will get the lucky dog. He was one of the cars that first down, so he'll get the lucky dog. But someone that bites in the rear, James Kerr and Daniel Michel, they're both 1 down. They'll get the wave around at the very least. Because they pitted so late in the stage, they can just kind of save it for the next one. But
Michel, it's a double whammy because he took 2 shots and messed up both attempts at pit entry. That is a huge hit for 25 Michel.
And it makes me wonder even if he fixed any of the damage he may have. Yeah, he only had a 7-second pit stop, so I don't even think he took tires. He took a splash, so now it's a triple whammy. Because he either has to pin him to service to get tires, or he's got to limp around on old tires and not as much fuel. David Wright just ran out on the pit lane. Another car sputtering. So it just shows you how close they had to stretch that. They barely got to the required window. And we're going to see it again for Stage 2 and Stage 3.
I don't think it's going to be that close for Stage 2 or 3 because these caution laps eat in to the Stage 2 and 3 distances.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because this one was a full 40 laps under green. Really looking at 36 laps under green, it shouldn't be nearly as hectic as what it was. Austin Purnell wins the battle off pit lane ahead of Brandon Fair place and Mike LaJoy coming out third place to start off Stage 2.
Big net game for all those cars. Again, the only downside, like you said, with Gaiman and Estes, they're luckily 8th and 10th respectively, at least on the lead lap. At least, even though they lost their front row positions, at the very least, they're not in a worse spot they could be. But then it makes me wonder as well with Wanzi. Wanzi, at least, he's net recovered to 4th. So, at the end of the day, it's an odd strategy at the very least. A lot of differing strategies there. And for some, it worked out great, like we saw with Mike LaJoy, debutant, coming in, winning Stage 1, and now 3rd on track. He's definitely looking to impress. So, mixed bag of strategies at the very least. For some, it worked out great. For others, they got some work to do. Looking in the chat right now, we got Ben McDonald rooting for Emma Kruger right now. We got Doug Norris rooting for the 42. So we got some drivers here rooting out for a lot of different cars. If you're currently watching, show some support in the chat for the car you're supporting.
See Daniel Michelle dropping to the back of the field. Just a gut punch for that 25, who led so much of Stage 1.
Well, again, only saving grace he has that win already in the back pocket. But that's not a consolation. And again, it's still a long race. We saw Reynolds multiple times the past couple weeks. He was able to steal one. So it's not the end of the world. Long time to go. He's not out of this by one shot. But being one down, he's going to need a quick caution. Hope no one else. He's the first car one down when the stage ends.
So Michelle dropped down. He's sitting 18th in a 19-car field. Albert George, the only car down more than a lap, down 3 laps after his spin exiting pit lane.
Sometimes we just saw the choose cone in effect there with all Spinell going low, Feather Place high, Wanzing low, LaJoy high. And Pinnell and Roberts making up row 3. Feemster and Kruger making up row 4. Actually, not Feemster, Kruger. Sorry, Feemster and Estes making up row 4, with Kruger and Marshall making up row 5. Just one more whammy. If 25 can't get caught up, he is not going to possibly make here before we get going. Should be able to, though. But pace car going to take the pole off here, take the hard left into the pit lane. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch there by the 32. 34 going to try to get maybe low here to slot over the 88, cover it off. He will, and they'll all go single file off here into 1.
Wanzi trying to make his way forward against Mike LaJoy. LaJoy on the inside, the 88. And you look for the one of Brendan Roberts, the Coca-Cola machine.
Uh-huh. You seeing him in a
on the
black...
outside.
We're usually seeing him in a black Coca-Cola machine. Now we're seeing him in a red one. Out for second, heating up as Wanzing and Feather Place fighting hard. As you can just see on the little side-by-side. Oh, Marshall touches the wall. It's going to cause evasive action there.
That was for the 21 of Kevin Feemster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Feemster spotting a special livery here this weekend. It's a game of chess here. How hard do you want to attack? Everyone's kind of just falling into their own little flow here. It's Marshall and Feemster fighting hard here just for the 7th position. And Marshall will end up getting it, so Feemster will fall down to 8th. Speaking of Edward Marshall, he's now going to make a move on the LaJoy. Actually, not, yeah, LaJoy, yeah, in the 88. You see the black ass racing colors on the 75 at Kerr. He's going to make a side-by-side move here. We'll get the job done. So put Edward Marshall up another spot. Kevin Feemster are going to fall around suit. So LaJoy going the wrong way quickly, but still be happy with that stage 1 victory.
Again, it's going to change a lot throughout this stage. Stage 2 goes until lap number 80.
Mm-hmm. 40, 80, 120 to finish. That's how the 3 stages break. And there's Edward Marshall. Actually, that's not Edward Marshall. That is the 88 of LaJoy. But you can just see Edward Marshall's cutting his way for this field. He saw green, and green means go for him. And he's now on Seth Wanzing's retail for 4th. Now 3rd. Another debutante looking to impress for Line Power. Get him back up in that construction championship fight. And Edward Marshall making it look like child's play here as he's going to make a move for 2nd. Oh, Ryan Pinnell goes a little bit too high there up the groove. Going to be a little bit of a checkup. Going to allow Feemster and Leiter both to sneak on in on the low side. As I watch this 16, I don't keep talking about it, but as I see him, honestly, I feel like Freebird should be playing in the background because he is driving his way up to this field right now.
Line Power Motorsports' newest driver, doing a really good job so far.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Wanzing just touches the wall just a tad there. Not enough to upset the car, but that should even allow him to get a good run here off the 34. Oh, Wanzing clips the apron there just a tiny bit.
And he is completely blinked out.
Yeah, we know he had connection problems at Kansas. Still in the session, he's not fully left yet. To keep an eye on him, but he is still not reappeared. Just pulled a Harry Houdini there. Still no sign of that 9. So at the very least, we'll give some breathing room to Marshall, as now, as I should say, Feather places. If Ryan Pinnell is able to get around Feather, yeah, he is. Look at that 12 having a good run right now. Up the third.
This is what the doctor ordered for Ryan Pinnell, who needs to put himself a buffer. He is sitting right now 14th in points, but there's drivers outside the top 16 that have race wins that get above him in the playoff line.
Mm-hmm. But Seth Wansing has officially dropped out now with his connection, so it is now behind the wall at the moment for the 9. And the longer these green flag laps tip off, the more laps he's going to lose if he does come back, which is just not what you want to see with Seth Wansing. Had the problems at Kansas, now here again at Charlotte's going to wonder what can he do to get it fixed. But yeah, Ryan Pinnell needs a good run like he does to the doctor to have. That was a sentence. But looking to get a buffer, as now he's actually clawing his way up to Marshall at the very least. Already has one A-Square Cup Series podium to his name this season. Still a long way to go. Not even a halfway yet. But I was looking to make it number 2. By the way, even though if you are watching, you can see at the top and the little ticker there, Purnell is not in the pits. That is a little bit of a timing scoring glitch. Purnell is still your race leader. Austin Purnell, I should say. But yeah, Ryan in that Casey Kane throwback, it feels like. What can he do in that 12? Looks like, looking at the time of scoring now, as you see the time of scoring, Brent Roberts had a little bit of an incident. He had a slight spin in his own. Now he is also in the pit lane as well. So, bit of a nutrition incident right now at the moment for some cars. So let's see what happened to Brent Roberts from my own perspective here. Ooh, yeah, he hit the wall and got stuck. Very low speed incident. Luckily, it was not a caution, but yeah, right now still sitting on pit lane for the 1. Seth Wansing has reconnected. Currently 5 down, possibly going to be 6 before he gets loaded in here. Just trying what he can do, maybe to minimize damage. But again, long night, cautions, precautions. You never know. Just got to keep your head in it.
Looking at teammates Ryan Pinnell and Kevin Feemster as they battle for 3rd place.
Mm-hmm. LaJoy back up to 6th.
Yeah. Up 13 spots from where he started.
Mm-hmm. That gain. Well, Bep, one of the biggest movers, along with Ryan Pinnell with 12 spots gained.
Yeah. And
Kevin Feemster up 9. Like you said, the top 6 have all gained a net position of at least 3 to 5, 3 spots. This Gaiman's going to get around LaJoy here. But up front, as you can see in the timing and scoring, Marshall is reeling down Austin Pinnell here. He's got it within 2 tenths, now at 10th. Similar vibes I'm seeing between what we saw in the first stage with Michelle and Toby Estes. The question is, how aggressive will that 16B to make the pass? Because if he doesn't get it done quick, it could open the door for Ryan Pinnell or even Feemster to get bunched. Well, they're already kind of bunched up, but to make a move instead. So, oh, well, Kevin Feemster gets a little loose. He's going to mow the grass there. And he'll get it back on. Yeah. Not going to get stuck in, but But that's going to fall into the clutches of Joshua Gaiman here. That's 61. Out for the lead. 16 going to get around the 32 here. And we got a new leader in Edwin Marshall as we see Gaiman going to make a move on the 21 of Feemster. Feather's going to slide on in there. S is looking for a way around. Going to try to stay on that high groove. We know he didn't feel most comfortable on that high groove when he made the move on Michelle earlier. Speaking of Michelle, you can see him one down at the talent in the middle of this pack here. Probably feels a little bit more comfortable laying lower, but can't really fit it in there because he's got a car basically running a similar line, giving himself some dirty air. But Toby S is now going to be in the middle of the bottom here, going to force Feemster to go high. Oh, Feemster going to tap the wall there. S is going to gain a spot. Now Feemster going to charge. I mean, not Feemster, sorry. Featherplay is going to charge on Feemster. Oh, gets squirrely. There's nowhere to go for that 21. Just trying to make the bleeding stop. Michelle, even though it's not for position, looking to stay on the lap. His only main competitor right now for the Lucky Dog is Olberstadt, who is currently looking to go possibly 2 down here. So no pressure for him for the Lucky Dog at the moment. We're on 71. You're not missing anything up front. Edward Marshall currently leads the pack with 4/10 clear of Purnell. Gaiman just got around Ryan. Joshua Gaiman got around Ryan Purnell there for 3rd. As we'll see it right there on our screen. Ryan Purnell trying to hang on and going to fall to clutches Toby Estes as well. Maybe try to slot in here between 29 and 34, but not going to be the easiest ask. That is just a train of trains that incorporates 3rd place all the way down to 8th.
And obviously you see Seth Wansing just a little further back on track in 18th position.
5 down at the moment.
There's Austin Purnell putting Oberstadt 2 laps down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we get to the end of the stage, the Lucky Dog should go to Michelle, bearing a caution coming out first that he may or may not be involved in. Gaiman Estes, they fought hard last week at the All-Star race. Oh, touching the back, 21 of Feemster. He'll keep it straight. That thing was pointed to the inside wall for a second. And the teammates getting a fighty here for Presidential Racing, which you don't want to see. It's also allowed Kruger to join the fray. Coming to 5 to go here. And all these cars in this little pack you're watching all have stage points at the moment. Neither driver can, because Matthew Leiter's the last car in on stage points, currently in 10th, and he's 3 back of this little pack we're watching as we're riding aboard here with Emma Kruger. So there's no risk per se of these drivers losing stage points. The only difference is how many points they can get. Because if you're at the lead of this little pack here, you're going to get 6 points. I'm not 6 points, 5 points. But if you're at the tail end of it, you're only going to get 2. So that's a net gain to loss of at least 3 to 4 points, depending on where you go. So there's that risk, if you will, of why these drivers are letting it fighting, because you never know when those points may come in handy, especially maybe Ryan Pinnell's case, Emma Kruger, LaJoy, Mike LaJoy's case, where stage points could matter in the long and short of it later on if you can't get that win. Should be worth noting, James Kerr just came down for service. He didn't pit before lap 40, and obviously still, I think, did get his lap back. But now, going to be in a lucky dog fight between him and 25 Michelle, but Michelle is going to get around here. But yeah, there you can see the 88 LaJoy and the 21 of Feemster. Kruger there as well, trying to find a way through.
Kruger right now enjoying a good race. Has had a rough time of it in the Champ Car World Series. But so far making a decent impression here. A good march forward for the 70 of Kruger. Who still battles with Feemster with 1 to go in stage number 2. It's Edward Marshall that leads the way. Line Power speckled in throughout the top 10.
Actually, there's a chance here Wanzen could get one of his laps back before the stage ends here. If he can whip it around here, could get one and then get another. If he can get the wave around, it's going to be a hard fight.
He's going to try to, but he's going to get there.
Yep.
And I don't think Marshall's going to fight him too awful hard. He's not going to fight the 22-hour George either. The caution comes out.
And the debutants winning stages here. That's going to be a stage 2 victory for the debutant in Marshall. So it's going to be Marshall, Purnell, Gaiman, Estes, Featherplace LaJoy, Kruger, Feemster, Purnell of Ryan fame, and Matthew Leiter rounding out your top 10 for stages here. So that pit stop's going to occur here. Going to check up here to let the pace car go through. So right now, Danny Michelle will be the lucky dog. Will get their lap back. And now they'll be on the lead lap. So when this is all said and done, at the moment, we'll either have 14 or 15 cars. Actually, 15 cars because James Kerr will probably take the wave around. So 15 cars presumably on the lead lap here before we go back to green. Obviously, going to be 4-tire pit stops and fuel for all the cars in question. No real opportunity for strategy or funny business as you want to get to the end here.
Pit stops. Who's going to win the battle off pit lane? It will be Edward Marshall.
Gaiman close behind. Featherplace, Estes, LaJoy, Kruger, Wright, Leiter. That's how they'll also cycle out as well. Ospinel with a very long stop here. All right, he was second. He'll get going now. Must have been 41-second stop for him. Bradley Wright with a 37-second stop. Ryan Purnell with another long stop as well. So slightly longer stops for a few cars here. Maybe to fix some damage, get some optional repairs fixed, or possibly they got caught by the speeding police, which is less likely to believe because they were going pit road speed or under pacing. But at the very least, take a good chance to fix damage under caution and get the cars in tip-top shape before we get going for stage number 3. There's, I think that's Oberstadt and George coming down here for the second round of service. Yes, it is. So we have 2 cars out here to get the wave around. And that's going to be Kerr and Wanzing. Yep, we'll have to choose. We'll have to choose next time by here. And we see how they choose. No cautions yet so far tonight other than the mandatory cautions.
You see cars getting ready to take a wave around here. Wanzing, and I believe that's 75 a Kerr. It is 75 a Kerr.
So as you see the choose here, Marshall going to take high. With Feather Place going to be the first car on the inside lane, with Gaiman also going to slot in high here. So as we all see it shake out, it's going to be Marshall, Feather Place in row 1, Gaiman, Gaiman Estes row 2, Kruger, LaJoy row 3, with Leiter and David Wright making up row 4, and Austin Pennell and Kevin Feemster in row number 5. So that's how they shake up here for the restart here in the stage number 3.
Marshall, Feather Place, Gaiman, Estes, Kruger, Leiter. LaJoy and Purnell round out the top 8.
So Kay's car out, and here we go again for the start of stage number 3. Marshall gets a good launch, and Feather Place is going to slot in the second, but he's going to have at least a bit of a challenge here from Gaiman. But Gaiman going to slot in for third with a bit of a fight for fourth between Estes and Kruger. Again, 3 Lion Power Motorsports cars make up the top 5 right now at the moment. And 2 Lion Power also looking for the first win as a team right now at the moment as well. And they got 2 strong contenders, both first and second. But they're going to have some challengers. Seth Wanzing going to take a pit stop here. Obviously, tried to maybe hope up for a quick caution or something. Going to have to take service here. That's going to put him in a hole to get back on the lead lap. But here's the battle still for front. As Feather Place looking for possibly a way around, but maybe also playing a bit of a loyal real gunner here. Keep the bad men behind and ensure Lion Power stays up front here. But it looks like Feather Place is going to go on around on the inside. Estes going to try to follow suit. Marshall could get trained. Hospital going to keep the door open.
Think how different this stage is starting out. Edward Marshall was the one on the charge to start off stage 2. Completely different here in stage 3.
Yep. Car definitely feels more... Yeah, maybe he has a good long-run car in that machine, that 16. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, but at the moment, definitely not got that short-run speed for Edward Marshall. Austin Pinnell was able to get around second for Toby Estes, so Austin Pinnell, even though he had a longer pit stop window, had to start a little bit farther back, going for a battle for the lead here, going to challenge the 34. Wants to join the rookie brethren with a win. 2 rookies have won so far this season in both Daniel Michel and Stefan Oberstadt, and he's looking to join that fray. He's in a hectic rookie of the year battle between him and Michel in the 25, so looking to try to get some good points to stay in that battle. Ooh, bit of a check up there on the inside line. That's going Wright to sneak around the outside. David Wright as well going to try to follow suit. And Marshall just looking to stop the bleeding. He's going to have Michel behind. That's not a good feeling, especially in your cockpit, when you know you're kind of just looking to get the bleeding to stop. You want to get a second to get readjusted, take a minute to get calmed down, and reattack. And when you keep getting constantly attacked and prodded and probed, you just want to get a minute to breathe. And right now that 16's looking for that reprieve just for a second to say, all right, cool the jets, let's get re-geared and let's get going again. And it looks like he'll have that window as Michel and Wright are going to fight behind him for 7th, so we'll have a second to take a minute.
Austin Pinnell leads to kick off lap 93, approaching the halfway stage in this race.
You can see them all playing single file here. Just looking for an opportunity. It's a long game here.
It's Pinnell, Fetter Place, Estes, and Gaiman top 4 as Estes tries to close in on Josh Gaiman.
Just seeing the distance there. They're all running single file, but it's a risk where you want to get ahead. You want to attack. You also don't want to burn your stuff too quickly, but you don't want to sit around and wait too long and allow Austin Pinnell to kind of jump away. So at what point some of these drivers maybe take a move on here? You can see Edward Marshall going to try to train around the outside here, get around the 61, and he'll get the job done. Now going to make the move on Estes with Feather Place coming off the block. So Marshall may have been the light to start the kettle. It's getting a bit racy as Michel going to try to follow Rue on that high side as well. Estes is going to get a fender in there. Going to be side by side in the 1 for second. Gaiman going to give a little bit of a push there to the 29. Michel's, you see Michel and Marshall. Michel kind of being the opportunist, changing lanes where he needs to go. You saw him high 1 lap ago, now low. He's going to pick the line he thinks will get him closer to the front and run with it. He'll stay low here. And Estes going to get clear for second. Now Feather Place going the wrong way quickly. Are down the 4th, could be 5th. Michel on his inside. Reminder, stage ends on 120. All drivers should be at least comfortable to make it on fuel at the moment. But you never know. Some driver, like we know James Kerr is struggling to get to that magic number, so we'll have to wait and see how it plays.
Lucky enough for better place, he didn't drop as far as Edward Marshall did. Edward Marshall still hasn't really recovered from that.
Mm-hmm. He's shown some punchiness in that 16, but definitely wishes he could get a little bit closer up here. But we can see the battle for the lead here. Austin Purnell gets kind of swallowed here on lap 99, coming to 100. And at the halfway point of this marathon race, it's going to be Toby Estes leading at the halfway, with followed close behind by Gaiman and Austin Purnell, rounding out your top three. And this is the raciness you're going to expect here for this stage and the final stage, as gloves are going to come off.
Gaiman battling with Estes. Keep an eye on Daniel Michel. He spent a lot of the early part of the mid stage of this race a lap down. Back on lead lap now. He's going to be causing some problems.
Good recovery. I would say good recovery drive from going one down. Spend the whole second stage, like you said, one down. Now, showing we know he has pace. We saw him quite strong in that first stint. And with a green flag pit stop looming in the next stage, you wonder if he took those notes and maybe learned what he has to do to make sure he gets it into pit road speed successfully. There you can see in the distance for third. There you can see Marshall, not Michaels and Purnell, I should say. Michel and Purnell, as Michel is going to get around Austin. But Austin going to go for the switchback. But there's the battle for the lead as well. Gaiman going to try to high groove it around this 29 of Estes, and will get the job done. So your new leader is the 61.
Oh, Purnell takes the wall.
Ooh, he did. Again, good tap there, but not strong enough to really upset the car that much. We'll see if he ended up hitting a little bit of the speed out of it. But again, shades of what we saw at the All-Star race last week. Gaiman and Estes fighting and fighting hard. And you can see Feather Place trying to make a move around Austin Purnell. He's kind of getting a run, but not good enough. It feels like Line Power has better long-run cars than short-run cars at the moment. As teammate fight, it's going to be Marshall getting around Feather Place. So Marshall's going to be in fifth. Neither of the drivers really giving an inch here. They're driving on the limit, and Marshall setting up for a move here. You know he likes to kind of pinch it a little bit higher than the cars around, but with Austin Purnell kind of running a similar-ish line, there's not much really for him to kind of sneak it around. We got a battle for the lead heating up again. Estes on the inside. Well, was on the inside of Gaiman. Gaiman gets the better drag off, though. But still stays in Gaiman's corner, at least for now. But Estes is getting pokey. He wants that lead back. Speaking of battles as well, we got we've been following that third battle as well between Austin Purnell and Michel. Marshall there
Brandon
in the
Marshall.
distance. Kind of just ready to pick a lane when he sees it. See, we got three battles kind of forming up here. We got the battle for the lead, battle for third, and the battle for sixth. All within kind of camera shot. And that's just in this top pack. There's even some more battles farther back. Charlotte's driving some great racing here. How bad does Estes want this stage? We're still a wee bit of ways away. 120 is the magic number. As, ooh, Michelle's in the wall. He's going to ride it hard around 1 and 2 there. That's going to cause a bit of a stack up. Saw him possibly clip it going into the tri-oval. Then 1 and 2, he definitely gave it a little tap. He's gotten it straightened out, but he ended up losing 2 spots because of it, and now falling into the battle between Feather Place and LaJoy, with Briley right there in the distance as well. Inside 10 to go of the stage. Let's watch these battles play out. Just in case you're curious about the Lucky Dog battle, right now it's in Oberstadt's hands, currently 2 down. Stays green to the finish, he would be back on the lead lap, 1 down. Well, back, getting 1 back, going to 1 down. But you can see right there, Michelle going the wrong way, which you want to do near the end of a stage. But we'll cut back up to the battle for the lead here. Estes been just poking and prodding. He's seen opportunities. Gaiman's allowed that inside lane. And Estes is kind of just showing his nose, showing his fender, saying, I'm here, I'm ready to battle. But just hasn't been able to get the run he needs to stay side by side long enough to capitalize. Good runoff exit here. He's going to get a good tow, but just not enough to send it in the 1. It's honestly what you see kind of in modern NASCAR. It's the battle of the lines. Gaiman feels more comfortable in one groove. Estes feels more comfortable in the other groove, and Gaiman occasionally comes down to kind of cut off Estes' lane, which allows Estes the opportunity to kind of close up, but then coming the next corner, Gaiman gets the better run off. So Estes is going to get a good run here. But then Gaiman feels a bit more comfortable at high groove, but it looks like Estes is going to run it in deep here. Could have a chance to send it off in the 2 here and get the spot he will. So put Estes back up to point. Now Gaiman going to have to be on the attack.
Laps are ticking down, 6 to go. A little further back, you got Feather Place and Mike LaJoy battling for the top 5 as Michelle tries to hold on to the top 7.
Just get all you can pay for, get all you can eat here. Don't want to go hungry if you don't need to. We're going to get the run. Even though line power's a little bit... Oh, Michelle gets a little squirrely. We'll cut back up the live action here to the front. Estes is open about 7/10 on Gaiman. At the moment, the Bandit Racing driver is looking to outbest the Beatron Racing battle here in the battle of the final stage. Coming to 3 to go here in the stage. Two to go on the stage. Estes gotten up to a second here. They've all pretty much gotten spaced out here for the most part. Could see maybe a late lunge for 1 or 2 more positions here, but we'll see on here with Featherplace and Purnell fighting for 4th. But Estes gonna come here and take the white flag lap of the stage. Can that 34, because 34 is not going to have the opportunity to wait to the line here. He'll have to make a move going into 3 and 4, maybe even a bit earlier, if he wants to get that position. Looks like he's going to take a chance here to send it. You can see right there, battle between Kruger and LaJoy. As Estes is about to cross the line here, and he has crossed the line, he will win stage 3. And that will trigger the yellow flag, as it's going to be LaJoy getting it. I believe
Kruger beat LaJoy when the yellow came out. LaJoy had it at the line, but Kruger had the position. As you can see, LaJoy giving the position back there. So correct. Kruger finished 6th, LaJoy 7th, right, 8th, Feemster 9th, and Daniel Michelle holds on to 10th. But it's Estes, Gaiman, Marshall, Purnell, and Featherplace rounding out the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Good stage there for Estes. 3 different stage winners here, which is not really a good omen for the drivers that won the stage, because you won a stage, but 3 different stage winners, it feels like the trend would show the winner is going to be someone that didn't win a stage. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, as probably the whole field's going to come down here and take serves. I'd be shocked if someone stays out. They're all going to take the hard left. Now the question is going to be who is going to win the race off pit road here? Whose virtual pit crew can get him some track position? F1's had another connection issue, so he is basically done for the day. Oberstadt's going to now be 1 down with the lucky dog. And James Kerr is now going to take the wave around again to get back on the lead lap. Actually, I think I got the other way around. Mistake. James Kerr is going to get the lucky dog, and Oberstadt is going to take the wave around. So regardless, Oberstadt's not going to be 1 down, and James Kerr will be back on the lead lap. But the race off the pit road here, it's going to be Gaiman's crew getting him the advantage. With Gaiman, Estes, Austin Purnell, Edward Marshall, Brandon Featherplace, that's your top 5 off the pit lane. And a great stop window there for Gaiman, as he had the fastest, well, not the fastest pit stop, but definitely the top 2nd fastest pit stop, 3rd fastest of the drivers that came down under service that window there. But that was good enough. Get him the lead. 14.82. Just record, the fastest pit stop was a tie between Feemster and Mike LaJoy for fastest for the drivers that came down under that last window. Both 14.68s. Actually, Austin Purnell had a slightly fast one at 14.50 because I can't read. But regardless, Oberstadt going to take service here. Man, no cars are going to be on the wave around here. So have choose. I don't think we hit 2 to go yet. Actually, we have hit 2 to green, so we'll have choose next time by. So unlike we usually see during restarts, we've seen the high groove be the lane drivers have picked. At least the lead car has picked. But after that, it's been kind of a mixed bag of where we've seen drivers go. We saw Featherplace go low last time, was able to slot in the second. So we'll have to wait and see how it all kind of plays out here. But I feel like Gaiman's going to go high. Estes could be a better wild card. He may try to line up on the low side, or maybe he'll line up behind and allow maybe Ospinel or even Edward Marshall to jump down on the low side. So we're going to get this question answered here. Pace car and the rest are going to come to the line here. It's going to be choose. If they hug the apron, it's going to be the inside. If they hug the wall, it's going to be the outside. It looks like we're going to have Gaiman going high, Estes low, Purnell high, Marshall low. So that is going to be your first two rows right there. Gaiman, Estes, and Austin Purnell and Edward Marshall. And then you're going to have Kruger and Featherplace making up row number 3. With LaJoy, Michelle, row 4. And Briley Wright and David Wright, both Wrights, making up row number 5. As we get ready to go green here, we'd like to thank anyone that's currently watching this. You've probably gone through a lot of racing here today. 200 laps down in Indianapolis. Possibly if you're up earlier, possibly 78 laps in the Principe of Monaco. And we're glad here you could join us for another 124 currently at the moment. Trying to get the 200 laps here tonight. So thank you for joining us here on your Sunday evenings.
Been a wild weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Gaiman and Estes on the front row for what will be the final stage of this race. As we get ready to go. Pace car is in. Approaching the restart zone. Stage 4 is underway here at Charlotte. And Gaiman with a really good launch.
Yep. Way better launch. Estes spun the tires, and that's going to allow Austin Purnell the opportunity to jump here, or at least fight for second hard here. Not the restart Estes wanted. And Estes going the wrong way quickly here. Marsh is going to tiptoe around the outside. We'll get the job done. So one just bad restart there has put the 29 down the 4th. See them all fanning out here. Some too wide there. You can see a battle there for Kruger and Wright fighting for 7th. But Austin Purnell, no, he's got a good short run car on that 32, looking to make a challenge here on the 61. See it a little bit further back. Then Michelle gets around Featherplace. Put Michelle up the 5th. Featherplace down the 6th. There goes Austin. Austin going to take the inside groove here. Going to have a run. And Gaiman going to go a little bit too high there, leaving a bit higher than he probably wanted to, and that's going to allow Marshall to sneak on in his round. So Marshall, opportunist here, followed through on when Estes had his slight mistake with the tire spin, and now followed through on Gaiman's slight mistake. And now he's up to 2nd. I don't think he's very hungry to stay in 2nd. I think he wants that lead. But right there, you see Michelle making a move on Estes. Ooh, Gaiman cutting through the AstroTurf there, try to find as much time as he can. Shell going to be on the inside corner of Estes. And will put himself up at the fourth. So Estes trying to make the bleeding stop here. Find a way to get that car re-geared. Well, sees an opportunity there, but can't get the car just in there enough to make the inside work. But Gaiman going to leave the space. It's going to allow Michelle to get a good run here, side by side. It's a field day for the rookies right now, with them occupying the top 3 spots. As now we got a battle for the lead here. Marshall trying to go to the point. Gonna get the job done, slide on up, take home the first position. Gaiman, not too happy riding fourth at the moment. Looking to change that. On board, you can just see the lane choices. Shell gonna try to make a move here for second. Spent all night trying to get back up there after the first stage. Is knocking on the door here for second, one away from that top spot honors.
Listening in, Josh Gaiman saving fuel. He's clutching and coasting entering the corners. He's doing it more subtly than what we saw Seth Wanting doing it earlier. He's just doing it entering the corner. But right now, he is definitely 100%. He's using the draft of the top 3 to save fuel.
Because it's worth noting that it's gonna, knowing that the stint of fuel is about 40-ish laps, obviously with the stage break being a little bit later, it should be comfortable per se, but you're gonna kind of split the fuel down halfway point, so you're gonna see a pit stop around 60, lap 160, and then you're gonna see to finish, and that's 240 windows. In theory, with the slight stage caution, they should be comfortable to get into both, but having that little extra insurance, just in case we get to a green light checkered, would definitely be not something bad to have. Game, you can just see Bauer in traffic. Lifting the fuel, trying to save a bit. A little close to the wall there for Austin. Right now, the one problem is you're going to see, keep an eye on the high side of the camera here. You got Toby Estes here side by side. There he pops in the shot. Got a good run there off 3 and 4, and he'll take it. So put Toby Estes up the 4th game and now down the 5th. Just seeing different strategies play out here on lap 140. 61 to go. Now Toby not content for staying in 4th, wants 3rd. We also got a battle for the lead as well up point. We got Marshall Michelle side by side. Michelle hungry for the lead, saw an opportunity, still going to be side by side, but going to have to get a good send to the corner here to have a chance. Just cannot get the exit he needs, but he'll stay a little bit closer. That lap led by Marshall, but Michelle is knocking. You can also see in the background there, still fighting hard between Estes and
Still a lot of side-by-side racing going on here for this race lead. We'll zoom out here as you can see the top 10, 12 cars all still together. Edward Marshall's leading Austin Purnell right to the rear bumper of Daniel Michelle as Michelle leads. Michelle and Marshall have kind of split away from the top two here as Josh Gaiman now battles with Austin Purnell, who almost lost it at turn 2. Ben Fetterplay sits in the 6th position. as we ride our way towards 50 laps to go. 51 to go at the line.
Yep, pit stop winner in here.
For now, I had a better place. I had a Wright, I had a LaJoy, I had a Matt Leiter. We're in the final quarter of this race. Gaiman getting around Edward Marshall. The ebb and flow continuing.
Gaiman finding that late run pace here. Yeah, in one of the first stages, we kind of had a scene where drivers have to push it to the end of the stage. Like, we saw at the end of the stage and then got saved by a pit stop here. They got to push it to that and a little bit extra. So it's about tire management, making sure you can get those tires to the point you need it. And this is where drivers like Gaiman and Estes kind of really shine. They know how to get those tires to the point they need to get them to with a little life left in them.
Another thing as well, like, your objective is to get as far away from the other side of lap 160 as possible. You want to go past 160 as hard as you can and make that last stanza easy. Because we know that 40 is about the limit. You want to get well beyond lap 160. You don't want it to be close because you don't want a green white checker to change the entire complexity of your race.
But the flip of the coin, there is one risk as well. If your driver may be fifth, sixth back, you could try it and go for an undercut and maybe try something. The downside, though, is once you hit 160, come on in. But the downside is if you get a late caution, you may not have the fuel to make it for a green white checkered, and in turn, you'll have older tires in the cars around you.
You also have the additional downside of possibly being a lap down if a caution comes out before everyone else comes in. It hasn't happened yet this race, but we're seeing just right there with Edward Marshall. All it takes is one slide out of control to change this race.
I know you saw it. I don't think I was able to catch it, but you are correct on that point. One slight mistake could easily put you in a world of hurt. So that's what these drivers have to be thinking about here. In tight moments like this, if you're hungry for that win, even though the top two have already gotten a win, we know Toby Estes was knocking on the door past couple weeks for a win, knows he's got the pace he can do it, and just has not had the luck to finish it. And you got Marshall, Feather Place, Purnell, LaJoy, everyone on down looking for that first win. So it's just it's a game. It's a gamesmanship. What can you do to break it? If you don't have the fast enough car, maybe try something different. Throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. And with Gaiman and Estes closing on that 25, we could have a fight for the lead on for grabs.
Top three all under a blanket as the field spreads out a little bit. 15 drivers on the lead lap. Steven Overstat, 2 laps down. Brendan Roberts back on track, 84 laps down, with Wanzing and George out of this race.
It's honestly one of those races where we've seen a lot of the previous weeks, cautions on cautions. And this is the one race where if you make a slight mistake, you haven't really had the chance for the cautions to get you back in this thing. If you're Oberstadt, for instance, your only reprieve was the stage breaks, getting you a lap back.
Yeah.
So, that's great. We don't want to see cautions, but at the same point, it's not good if you make a mistake. You haven't really had the chance to reel yourself back in this thing.
Approaching the last pit window. Here we go.
What we do know for a fact, at the very least, is James Kerr will probably be the first car to pit. Usually is the one that has the shortest fuel tank, so he'll be first, but he is currently 15th. After that, though, it's anyone's guess who will blink first, but Gaiman wants to be leading when we get to that window. Gonna make a move, slide on up, and he'll get the spot. 61 at least in the lead for now. Can the 25 answer back into 1?
Josh Gaiman doing what he can here. Already a race winner. 2 of these top 3 won a race. Toby Estes still looking for his first win of the season. Last season he had 2. Estes kicking himself because he really wanted more than just 2. There's several opportunities for him to do so.
Yeah. And Leiter going to be the first one to blink here in the top 10. Oh, right in the grass. 29 goes, but you'll see the 83 take the pole in here. On the brakes. And as nice as you can take it, that's what you got to do. Could have maybe got a little more time, but don't want to speed this late. Oh, Michael in the wall. Michelle in the wall. A lot of M's. And Michelle ends up tapping it just slightly, but keeps it pointed right. Looks like Marshall going to pit this time by in the 16.
Yeah, Marshall's in from 4th.
Barely over that 160 bar, not a lap higher.
Not a lot of flexibility in that. I think the closest you can get to 165, the better off you'll be. If you can get to 165, like Gaiman fuel saved a little bit at the beginning of this stage. I wonder if he can get to that 165 number, because if he's in that 165 number, he can survive a couple of group checkers. 160, you can get to just to lap 200, but it doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room.
No.
Purnell, Kruger, right all in.
Oh, I think Michelle hit the wall again.
He's struggling on those older tires.
Yep. We know that's his kryptonite. Yeah, I heard a lot of drivers coming on in, so have to keep an eye. That time by was Purnell, Kruger, David Wright. We'll see who blinks this time by.
Yeah, Michelle's in. Federer Place is in.
Briley Wright's coming in.
Mike
LaJoy's in.
Yeah. Let's see if Withers comes in. He will not.
Gaiman coming in this time by. 29 as well. So Gaiman, Estes coming in here on 163 to 164.
Edward Marshall getting around to Tommy Withers, who would inherit the lead if he stays out.
Oh, 61 comes in hot. He'll get it woe down. So it looks like no one got busted for speeding at the moment, which is good, but right now your main friend is getting as much time as you can on entry and exit.
New race leader will be Tommy Withers. Ryan Pennell, Kevin Feemster, all in this group, all holding on.
Feemster in this time by, I think Withers, and I think Pennell, all three coming in. There you can see Feather Place merging.
Yeah, he's got to let all these leaders go around. And then Feemster's got to get to the bottom, and Feather Place has got to move lanes. He got a little bit of a lane change, and that's as close as you can make it happen, but don't make it safe. Pennell stays out another lap, so Pennell leads a lap at Charlotte. And caution comes out!
Oh, no!
And it's Kruger, who spins.
She already entered the pit lane, so that's on another incident. So right now, cars on the lead lap. Pennell, Withers, Feemster, Gaiman, Estes, Michelle, Marshall, Feather Place, first one down. So it's not detrimental that if that was one more lap later, maybe we would have saw a few more cars one down.
Very smart. Pennell, Withers, and Feemster did not come down pit lane. So they will stay ahead, crucially, of Josh Gaiman. Now they're going to come in no matter what anyway.
Yeah.
But
this is interesting.
So Ryan Pennell will pit from the lead here. And Withers has to come in no matter what. He did not have the fuel to really do what he did.
This is going to get messy. We'll have to wait a second to get time and scoring kind of updated here. But we do know for a fact is Feather Place is going to most likely get the lucky dog here. But after that, everyone else is going to be one down because they're going to get trapped, I believe, by at least one car.
You're going to take wave around here.
Okay, it is going to be wave around. Okay.
So Pennell was ahead of all the lap down cars. Feather Place is going to get the free pass. But then you have a lot of lead lap down cars. So Josh Gaiman is going to inherit the lead, but he's just now coming out of 4.
Yes.
So, yeah, they're not at all a part of this situation.
Okay,
and the issue is that with Feimster and Withers, they pit before catching up to the field. So they're going to go a lap down here.
Mm-hmm.
They have inadvertently kind of boned themselves on that one. Because if they have stayed out and caught up to the rest of the pack and then come in, they would have been fine. But they didn't give themselves enough time. Actually, it looks like Feimster... Yeah, Feimster came out of pit lane ahead of Gaiman.
Yes.
So this will be interesting. I don't know if Feimster's going to get a wave around on this. Because you technically cannot pit and get wave around.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how this happens here. We'll keep an eye on that 21. Withers is firmly a lap down in this conversation. Mike LaJoy comes down, as will Steven Oberstadt and Brendan Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Marshall comes down as well as Brandon Fetterplace, who comes down again. Well, never mind. Fetterplace coming down for the first time because he was the lucky dog. Excuse me. Josh Gaiman will inherit the race lead over Toby Estes, Daniel Michelle, and Ryan Pennell, who got bailed out significantly by that yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're sitting here waiting for us to come one to green here, we're going to take a look what happened to Emma Kruger. Emma's sitting in the 12th position right now. And this is what happened to the 70. Through 3 and 4. Oh, Oberstadt. Oh! Ooh, Oberstadt was slowing up on the inside lane.
You know, a couple laps earlier when we saw Featherplace get around, I was kind of reminded of that Reagan Yaley incident Martin Yaley incident many years back. And I
wonder if Oberstadt called it out or not.
I don't think I heard him. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, because Kruger's side by side with the 88 of Mike LaJoy, so she can't really move up in this situation.
And considering the fact Oberstadt's a couple down, you think he would have tried to take the apron, but yeah, very odd. I don't know if he called it or not. I heard a bunch of people calling. Don't know his voice well enough to say it, so.
Apparently, you got a couple people that are spotting in this race. Apparently, a couple people saying that he did announce it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the biggest question. If he had announced it, then that's kind of fair game. But if he had announced it, then that could have been a problem. But obviously, if he announced it, then Oberstadt's done what he could do.
Yeah. Can't ask him to go on the apron. So yeah, shoes just in effect there. Gaiman high, Estes low, and then it's going to be Michelle and Pennell row 2, with Marshall Featherplace row 3, lighter right row 4, and then right Pennell row 5.
Interestingly enough, Kevin Feimster will get the wave around here, so there'll be 13 cars on the lead lap.
Fuel questions are now out of the question. Drivers are all good for the most part. This caution will definitely, if they had a little bit of concerns, they'll be able to save a little bit and get it done.
All right, 13 cars on the lead lap, and this is going to be interesting because there's 4 cars and then a bunch of lap down cars.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it looks like there's 6 cars here because then you have some of the lap down machines. You have Roberts and LaJoy will hopefully lap.
But away we go. You can see a little bit of a wheel spin in the back there. Gaiman hugged the wall on the restart. Very odd restart procedure for him. And he'll get the good launch he needs, though. Second, though, Toby Estes not getting the best restart. It's going to be under pressure from Michelle. Ryan Pennell, he's going to get sandwiched here. It's 4 wide almost. That is not... Estes had a similar restart a little bit back. And it's coming to bite him again. Getting swallowed by the pack. That's what Joshua Gaiman wanted to see, but not Toby Estes.
And that helps out Daniel Michelle and Ryan Pennell. They are setting sail.
Yep, Feather. Marshall, Feather Place. They're both going to get around as well. Battle for third there between Marshall and Pennell. Also battle for fifth as well. Ass is going to get the spot.
Ryan Pennell will drop down to fourth here. Tried to prolong that battle with Marshall, but it was ended up being better for wear. Just to drop back just a smidge.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Pennell going the wrong way. He's getting, you'll see there on that wide shot, getting swallowed by the pack. We got the battle for the lead as well. Two things fighting up here. Michelle gonna get around here. Gaiman.
Four cars in this pack.
Mm-hmm. That's able to reel his way back up as well. Marshall as well.
Someone's becoming playoff eligible, I think. Two drivers in this group have not yet won this season. Edward Marshall, his first race of the season. Now a full-time driver, he becomes eligible. What a pickup it would be for line power.
Yeah. And you got Michelle and Gaiman. Michelle gets a second win, automatically basically locks him into the playoffs. We'll see him here in the fall. Gaiman already got those 2 wins, but a third one wouldn't hurt. Keep pace up with Tommy Reynolds and Breo for most wins in the season so far. Should be worth noting as well, slight tire advantage for Marshall as he did come in under the caution to get tires in comparison to the cars around him who were on 162 and 163. It's not much, but it could be just enough. Especially when it comes down to decimals and seconds. Should also be worth knowing we're coming to 24 to go here. Feather Place is in the distance, about a second back of the leader. They get a little bit fighty. If we saw what happened earlier with that little mistake by Marshall, when he got a little loose off corner, if that happens maybe for Michelle, Feather Place could be there to capitalize. As I'm watching this, I feel like Gaiman's playing the long game here. He knows his tires get better mileage than Michelle's do, so he doesn't have to force it per se. The only problem is with how pushy Marshall is behind, Marshall could easily press the issue a little bit and force Gaiman into making a move a little bit earlier than he probably wants to. $21 to go. Nothing's changing this top 4, but it should be worth noting, right? Feather Place is slowly, albeit slowly reeling in this pack just a tiny bit. And the cavalry, the second pack of Wright, Austin Purnell, Ryan Pennell, and Matthew Leiter are catching up as well, just slightly. Not by great intervals. They're catching a little bit. Estes thinks about a move there for third. Gonna actually try. He's gonna have a move on the inside here, but just cannot keep the fender in. Looks like James Kerr had an incident somewhere on the track. We stay green. Kruger arguing there was a 3-car incident in the back. Looks like it was at least 2. The 3 should have been maybe a caution, but we stay green. Controversial division, but we stayed green. Battle for third there. Heating up. Estes gonna get around here. Marshall.
So a lot of cars left in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a look here on what happened with James Kerr. It looks like James Kerr got the worst of it.
Yeah, you're gonna see here. They call this 1-car round, couple involved.
Oh yeah.
And then Kruger.
That's 3.
Race control said 1 around. The other 2 said straight. So we continue green. Controls handle down the law. Oh, Gaiman trying to save it, cannot save it. Gets a run. He won't hit anything, but that is gonna take him out of contention for this win.
For now.
And S is gonna go to the point. We talked about cars getting loose, and it just caught Gaiman at the worst time right there. Gaiman not too happy. Michelle broke loose. Obviously understand Gaiman's frustrations. With 15 to go, Estes on the point, Marshall in second, Michelle in third. Top 2 looking for their first win here in the season. Even the top 5, we got 4 out of the 5 drivers looking for their first win. Could probably even send it to the top 9, including Michelle, who won at Fontana. $13 to go. Estes looks like he's in control at the moment. Battle for second, Michelle and Marshall. Michelle gonna get a fender there on the inside. Will get clear to put Michelle back up to second. Keep it on times here. See what we can get out of this. See if there's anything left in either car. Coming to the line, 11 to go. Last time by, Michelle was faster. 30.34 for Michelle, 30.45 for Estes. There were 2. like Gaiman had another little incident in the back there as well. Bad, the worst. End up going the wrong way around again. We stay green. 10 to go. That time by. Dead even lap times for the two of them. It's Bandit Racing against Sunday Money Racing with line power in the distance. 9 to go. That time by advantage. Michelle by a couple tenths. 4-3 to 4-5.
Out of a third, Edwin Marshall and Briley Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Bandit Racing trying to get a double podium here.
So cooked up stuff maybe a bit too much there. Ooh, big wiggle out of 4 for Michelle. It's going to cost us some time there. Big time loss. Yes, it's right now not trying to stay focused on the road ahead. Doesn't want to recall back to the races previously he's had mistakes in. You're only as good as your you're only good as your next race. And Estes is trying to prove that statement correct here. 7 to go. Advantage still in Estes' camp. Wright's got around Marshall for third. Big meaty lap there from Michelle. Got it back to where he was before that little mistake. But he's going to have to shave off a tenth of a lap if he wants to get there. Marshall got passed by Feather Place for fourth.
Big battle for third right now between these three. And don't forget Ryan Pinnell closing in as well. As those three continue to battle, it helps out Ryan Pinnell to try to squeak away another surprise result.
Mm-hmm.
And with 5 laps to go, that is crucial.
Yeah, all points matter. Especially with different drivers getting different wins. You never know when these points may be important. Even for the constructors as well. At the moment, Sunday Money Racing has a 33-point lead over Bandit Racing, and if Bandit can get double podium here, they could retake the top spot in the constructors. 4 to go. Michelle gained a little bit of time there, but not enough. Right, slight mistake and allowed one line power car to get to the podium. The other one fighting for top 5.
That was contact between Briley Wright and Edward Marshall. Marshall tagged the wall. And now it's Ryan Pinnell trying to pounce.
Stalking in the distance.
Not so distant anymore.
That baby blue 12 looking to get some extra points here. Not missing anything up front. Michelle's gained about almost 0.75 as we hit 2 to go. Can the baby blue assassin get get 5th position or get a top 5?
Obviously, that's the aim. Obviously, easier said than done. Coming to the white flag, though, for Toby Estes. 1 lap to go at Charlotte.
It feels so close yet so far. Been racing for about 199 laps. What's one more to add to the tally?
I say, you've waited this long, you can wait about a half mile more. Toby Estes rounding through 3 and 4 for the final time here at Charlotte. Out of turn 4, Toby Estes is locked in. He wins at Charlotte.
Took a while, but he got the job done. First win of the season. Congratulations to him. Michelle second. Crossed the line for a big battle between Marshall and Purnell. Marshall hangs on, so it's going to be Michelle, Feather Place rounding out your podium. Wright and Marshall rounding out your top 5.
Huge night for Toby Estes. Finally gets it done.
So it's pointed out top 10 for Emma Kruger and also Gaiman. After having kind of double mistakes, luckily kind of saved by staying on the lead lap, ends up getting a top 10 as well, even though he's looking for a lot more.
His 4th career win in the series. Makes it count here tonight.
He is going to burn it down.
We'll hear from our podium finishers here in just a moment. Toby Estes, a well-earned burnout. As he is playoff bound.
Yep.
Still burning it down.
Yeah. I mean, considering that he almost came so close at the All-Star race last week at Wilkesboro, and then the previous week at Dover and Kansas, he's got a lot of pent-up frustration, and he's letting it show. But now, doesn't have to worry about it. He is now playoff eligible.
And there goes the engine for the number 29.
Well,
Burn it down until it was down no more. Well, Toby Estes rolls around here. We'll talk to 3rd place, Brandon Feather Place. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Obviously, a long race tonight, longest one of the season. But a podium's what you walk away with. Walk through your race tonight. Very clean, very, very chaotic, but a very eventful race for you.
Yeah, I approached this particular race just trying to stay patient, not trying to overdrive the car. We had really bad tire fall off. I'm not very good with a loose race car, and this set, it was pretty loose. So I just didn't want to wreck it. And, I guess my patience paid off.
A wild race tonight, obviously, without a doubt. Getting that 3rd place, another solid result for the team. Obviously, the first race you had with the new teammate, Edward Marshall, and he did really well. What was it like racing with him tonight? You two were around each other a lot. Obviously, Emma recovered to a top 10 as well, so a good night for line power all around. But obviously, how was it like getting the team commission put together with Tom Sears not there to lead the team?
Actually, we did pretty well. Hopefully Tom is happy with our result. We got a 3rd, a 5th, and looks like a 9th. Marshall, I have a long history with Marshall. I actually know him outside of the league, so I was really excited whenever he decided to join up and race. So there's going to be some good things happening between all of us here at Line Power for the next rest of the season.
Obviously, a lot of work tonight to get the results that you got. Third, fifth, and ninth as a team. Just a phenomenal turnaround here for Line Power. But now you have to kind of look forward beyond Charlotte. There's a lot of races coming up here. You know, longest race of the season. You're still looking for your first win in the season. You know, what race do you think kind of sticks out as being a race you can kind of make that happen? Obviously, you won at Watkins Glen. Sonoma's in a couple weeks. Is that what kind of a place you have highlighted, or are you looking at a place like Gateway, like Nashville coming up?
You know, I need to get this monkey off my back. I feel like there's been quite a few races that I should have won, or should have been really close to winning, and I just can't seem to get it done. So, like you said, I've got some of these circled, like Sonoma, Gateway, New Hampshire, Michigan, the road course, Watkins Glen, just to name a few that I'm hoping to do really well in. Maybe I can get this podium, maybe get a win.
Well, obviously you did a phenomenal job tonight. Third place, another podium. Definitely does not hurt the point standings at all. You entered tonight already second place in points, and with Tommy Reynolds not making it tonight, you crawl a massive amount of those points back into getting the championship lead just based on points alone. So a phenomenal job there. A lot of consistency from that 34 crew. Before we let you go and let you just unwind and relax from a long night of racing, the floor is yours if you have anyone you want to shout out.
Thank you very much. Shout out to my team, Line Power, for all the work that we do, all the help that we give each other. Ghost Energy for being on the car. For your, ABN for the broadcast, everyone who watches at home, just thanks to everybody. So I'll see y'all at Gateway.
Absolutely. Again, congratulations to Brandon Fetterplace, third place finisher tonight. Brandon, we'll see you next week at Gateway. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
That was Brandon Fetterplace, third place finisher tonight. Next on the list is Daniel Michelle, second place finisher for Sunday Money Racing. All three different teams on the podium tonight. And these are three teams that have been up front of the standings for most of the season. We'll hear from Daniel Michelle next. Daniel, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
All righty. A very fun race up front for a lot of that inning stanza, but it wasn't all that simple having to come from a lap down after a bad pit stop. But walk us through that comeback trail. Obviously, having to race it all the way back to that second half of the race.
Yeah, I knew I had a lot of speed on the short run, and I was trying to capitalize for the most part using that. After I made my pit road mistake, I mean, I was lucky. I had that about 13 seconds, but I used it up quick, and yeah, I got stuck a lap down, tried to fight my way past the leader on the stage, but once I knew that I couldn't make it, I just stayed behind. And yeah, I just used the amount of stages to my advantage, and once I knew I was back on the lead lap, I just tried to fight my way back up to the front. Stage 3, I burnt up my tires a little too hard trying to send it on the bottom using a line that I think burned off way more than anyone else. And yeah, it cost me later in the race, that final stage, with the contact with Josh. I really, I want to apologize to him. I tried doing it before. I got real loose off the bottom and was tracking the car up the hill, and he got into my rear end, and that's what messed him up. So it was a fun race. I was able to race real hard around Toby and Josh for the most part, and making my way through the field. Everything was nice. I took my time for the most part. A few guys I definitely wanted to push because I knew if I could get ahead, I could stay ahead. So yeah, it was a good race.
Obviously, another really good result. Obviously, doing a really good job. You already won a race this season, so you're already in the playoffs. But how much do these bonus points matter? Getting these extra race wins to try to get that guarantee to pad yourself going into the round of 16. How much do those bonus points matter still, as we enter the midway point of the regular season?
Well, more than them mattering in the playoffs, which they really do matter. You need a good amount of points to really pad yourself and have a safe trip through the playoffs. But I am typically using these races to just try and find speed. If I know I can gain speed somewhere, I'm going to try it during the race, and then later on in the playoffs, if I know that something works, I'm going to try it and then take advantage of something that I learned earlier in the season.
Well, so far it's coming up full circle for you. Obviously, second place tonight here at Charlotte, and one of the fastest cars on track. Just a phenomenal effort all the way around. Before we let you go and kind of let you unwind and relax from the longest race of the season, if there's anyone I want to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on another podium.
Thank you. I just want to shout out to Seth and Bren. I know they had a pretty rough race today, a lot of issues for those two, and I mean, I'm hoping that this finishing position that I was able to get is still going to bring up that morale, and hopefully the team can go out next week and do better.
Well, a phenomenal job tonight, Daniel. Obviously, a really good race for Sunday Monday Racing, keeping that team obviously near the front of the standings, as well as keeping yourself near the top of the standings as well. Into tonight's 6th place in points. Did a really good job closing in on that gap in the top 5. So congratulations there, and obviously we'll be seeing you next week at Gateway.
Yep.
That was Daniel Michel, 2nd place finisher tonight. We got one more person to interview, and that is none other than Toby Estes, the race winner himself. First win of the season, 4th win in A squared for Toby Estes, Bandit Racing's own. Toby, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hell yeah, I do.
Welcome back to Victory Lane for the 4th time in A squared competition. First time this season. What a feeling it is being locked into the playoffs here on a night where, you know, Tommy Reynolds wasn't there, Aiden Norman wasn't there. You and Bradley Wright put on a show for Bandit Racing, and it's a 1-4 effort. You on the top step tonight. How you feeling?
To be honest with you, man, I'm on cloud 9 after that first stage there. Whenever I tried to split it in half, I thought I was done for. But damn, it feels good to be back in victory lane. Long time waiting.
Obviously, the longest race this season, and it was a completely clean race. Only really had one caution for an incident, and it allowed everyone to really kind of gel in and find a rhythm. How important was it, especially early on, to find that rhythm and figure out what you needed to do to make those long runs work?
Well, you know, the beginning of the race, everybody was kind of, you know, searching. They were some guys running the high. You had some guys kind of running the middle, and I was switching it up and back and forth, but I knew long run wise it was definitely not going to be at the top. It was going to be at the bottom, and coming off of 4, you had to use your throttle. I mean, like almost an egg was underneath it. I haven't felt this car drive like this in a long time, but hey, I'm pretty good at saving tires, I like to think, and I was a little bit more aggressive there at some points of the stages, but you kind of got to get what you can get and then go into that saving tires mode, I guess you could say.
Obviously, it was a fantastic race tonight, just being able to be able to really put on a show, and obviously having all those green flag laps matter. You know, kind of taking a second to kind of look out at it, like, you've had this pace, especially the last few weeks, being so close several times, being able to finally grab one here at Charlotte. What does that do as far as like boosting the confidence, not only for you, but for the team? Now you've got multiple drivers that are in the playoffs now. How much does that help the team out going, especially in the second half of the season, going into the summer, where you've got Gateway, you've got Sonoma, you've got Darlington, you've got Nashville, 4 very difficult tracks back to back, but those are tracks that the team has consistently done well on.
I mean, from a team standpoint, I mean, we've all had speed, you know, but I think, you know, these next few races coming up, it's a good chance for everybody on the Bluegrass Bandits to snag a win. Riley ran good tonight. I'm not for sure where he ended up finishing.
4th place.
I heard him 4th, yeah. I think he made a mistake and slipped up and lost it to Fetter Place, but I mean, it's hard. I know the last restart there, whenever I got loose, I was getting pushed into the corner and got shuffled up, putting a lot of guys 3 wide. I thought my race was done. I mean, it's just so hard to drive these cars. I mean, they're bottoming out like crazy in 3 and 4. I mean, you got to stay so locked in. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what you got tonight. Obviously, a race win. Again, your 4th in A square competition. Obviously, phenomenal seeing that number 29 up front here on Memorial Day weekend. And you're playoff bound. That's part of the struggle already over with, and a phenomenal job at that. You already entered this week. You entered the night already top 5 in points. And now you join Gaiman, you join Daniel Michelle, who you battled with tonight, and being a race winner and in the playoffs. Before we let you go and kind of let you celebrate and let you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations back again in Victory Lane here in 2023.
Yeah, first off, I want to shout out the Bluegrass Bandits. Aiden helped a lot tonight in race comms, kind of telling us where people were picking up and where we were losing that as far as speed and momentum. I mean, obviously, I hope nobody forgets what this whole entire 3-day weekend is all about. So anybody that, serves or has served, I mean, hats off to you guys and girls. And also shout out to Gaiman. Me and him raced really hard all night. A lot of clean racing. Yeah, just all around, I thought it was a great race for A Squared tonight.
Absolutely a phenomenal race. One caution for an incident. Other than that, just stage cautions. Gave a lot of green flag racing, and it was a lot of fun watching, Toby. Again, enjoy the race win. Race winner here on Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you next week at Gateway.
Yes, there's definitely going to be a party in Kentucky tonight. I can promise you that.
Absolutely. Give them hell. Congratulations, Toby, and good luck. We'll be seeing you next week.
Yep. See y'all later.
That was Toby Estes, the race winner here tonight. Race win number 4 in his career. And as you can see already on the left side of your screen, that's kind of what the results look like. 19 drivers, no need to kind of scroll, but you'll see what it all looks like by the time this one was said and done. Toby Estes, Daniel Michelle, Brandon Fetterplace, we heard all 3 of them in this race. That's how they finished, 1, 2, 3. Bandit Racing 1 and 4, with Barley Wright finishing in 4th place, still looking for his first win in the A Square competition. Edward Marshall on debut, won a stage, couldn't close out the race win, but 5th place, not bad for a debut. Ahead of Ryan Pinnell, Austin Purnell, Kevin Feemster, and McCrigger recovering the 9th place after getting tagged in an incident with Steven Oberstadt and the 88 of Mike LaJoy. Josh Gaiman finished in the top 10, probably kicking himself after being in contention for a race win there. Matt Leiter 11th. And then you start looking at lap down cars. Mike LaJoy, Tommy Withers, David Wright, I should say, finishing all 1 lap down. Steven Oberstadt 3 laps down. Then James Kerr 19 down and out of this race. Bren Roberts recovered to 17th ahead of Bren Roberts, with Ulrich George being the last car on the standings. Only ran 94 laps in 19th position. That is a wild race, a very quick race, I should say, here at Charlotte. 200 laps, 300 miles. Again, very clean racing here tonight. Put on a phenomenal show for that race win. We don't have anything going on tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's all ABN. Formula Atlantic on Tuesday, ABN Admirox Cup Series on Wednesday at Las Vegas. And Thursday, it's the Champ Car World Series at Barber Motorsports Park. Those are the next 3 broadcasts, the next 3 events for ABN's calendar coming up. We hope to see you there. On behalf of everyone here for ARCS, on behalf of everyone here for Darkside Mustangs, Midwest Barbecue, Windy Chevrolet, and everyone here for ABN Studios and all of our partners. On behalf of my co-commentator Kevin Young, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for spending your Memorial Day weekend with us. Stay safe. Have fun. Stay healthy. We'll see you on Wednesday night at Las Vegas. So long, everybody.